15 years ago, the events at Cedarwood Medical Center changed my family's life forever. Were the things I was told true? Or was a much darker secret being concealed? Today, I, Madison Brooks, am here to uncover those secrets, building a new life within the walls of this hospital. Silent, cautious, but determined. In this video, I'll reveal truths that no one has dared to uncover for years. If you love mysterious, gripping stories like this, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel, because this is just the beginning. Now, let's step together into the secrets of Cedarwood Medical Center. Madison Brooks stood in front of Cedarwood Medical Center, carrying the weight of her past. She took a deep breath, fighting the ache in her heart, and stepped inside. This was the place where, 15 years ago, she lost her family, a hospital buried in dark secrets. Madison adjusted her uniform, checked her nurse's badge, and began her shift. The hospital's corridors were filled with countless life stories, some filled with hope, others with pain. She was careful in her ward. While tending to patients, she observed her surroundings closely. There was a strange coldness among the staff. Some avoided each other, while others whispered in secret. In the afternoon, she met Helen Carter, an experienced nurse who had worked at the hospital for years and was one of the few who remembered Madison's family. Madison. Hello, I'm Madison. It's my first day. I'd appreciate any help. Helen, her eyes welling up slightly. Welcome, Madison. Hearing about your family, it's a tough memory for this hospital. Madison noticed the hesitation on Helen's face. She wanted to learn more. Madison. I know. I want to uncover the truth about my family. What happened here? What's being hidden? Helen, in a hushed voice. Some secrets have been kept hidden here for years, but I can see you're determined. Madison's heart raced. She had caught her first small clue. As the sun set, Madison retreated to her room. She began sifting through old hospital records and notes on her desk. Every page was filled with traces of hidden pain and mistakes. Madison, with determination. I'll find the truth. For my family, for myself. This won't be the end. The next morning, Madison arrived early for her shift. As she walked through the hospital corridors, she noticed unease on everyone's faces. People seemed wary, avoiding eye contact. While tending to patients, Madison kept a close watch on her surroundings. She began noting the staff's conversations and behaviors. One nurse whispered to another colleague and then quickly walked away. Madison approached them. Is everything okay? She asked. The nurse averted her eyes. Yes, of course, she said, but her voice trembled slightly. Madison thought to herself, something's being hidden. That afternoon, Madison headed to the hospital's archive room. She had obtained permission to review old patient files and reports. Among the files were documents related to her family's loss. Dates, doctor names, test results. Everything was jumbled. At that moment, Helen appeared. Poking around here could be dangerous, she warned. Madison remained calm. I'm here to find the truth. I want to know what no one wants revealed. Helen looked away but saw Madison's resolve. Be careful, Madison. This hospital isn't what it seems from the outside. Madison clung tighter to the files. Here we go, she said to herself. The next day, while walking through the hospital corridors, Madison spotted Helen Carter. The veteran nurse, who had worked there for years, began walking beside her. Helen paused briefly and looked at Madison. There are things we need to talk about your family. Madison's curiosity piqued. I'm listening. Helen took a deep breath. 15 years ago, there were doubts about your parents' condition. But back then, exposing it was nearly impossible. There were powerful people in this hospital. Madison's eyes widened. Who were they? Who, really? Helen averted her gaze. Dr. Jonathan Hale? He made most of the decisions. He did everything to cover up mistakes. Madison's voice trembled. Why didn't anyone speak up? Why did everyone stay silent? Helen. Because this hospital wasn't just a place for treating patients. It was also where the secrets of the powerful were kept. Some were scared, others stayed quiet for their own gain. Madison was resolute. I won't stay silent. I'll uncover the truth. For my family, for everyone here. Helen gave a faint smile. Good. I want to help you, but you need to be careful. This is more dangerous than you think. Madison. I'm ready. Throughout the day, Madison went about her duties as if nothing was amiss, but her eyes were constantly scanning her surroundings. She was now watching every move, memorizing every detail. But today, the most challenging moment was facing the name she'd been dreading, Dr. Jonathan Hale. As she walked through the intensive care corridor, A harsh, male voice echoed from an open office door. Dr. Hale, have you checked the reports? Not a single line gets out, understood? Madison slowed her steps. Peering inside, she saw Hale clearly for the first time. A middle-aged man, well-dressed, with sharp, commanding eyes. His words were orders, his presence unsettling. Dr. Hale noticed Madison and approached the door. Dr. Hale, you must be the new nurse, Madison Brooks, right? Madison cleared her throat. Yes, sir. Dr. Hale, good. Don't break the rules, do your job properly, and you won't have any problems. The most important things in this hospital are loyalty and silence. Madison nodded briefly. Understood. But inside, her only thought was, I'm on to you. This man holds the key to the secrets. That evening, Madison met Helen again in the staff cafeteria. Helen, did you come face to face? Madison, yes, I could tell right away how intimidating he is, but there's something he's hiding. I saw it in his eyes. Helen leaned in and whispered, Helen, there's no record of Dr. Hale's past in the files. It's like he appeared in the hospital one morning out of nowhere, and those who talked about him either left their jobs or disappeared. Madison sighed. Someone with no past is hiding the truth. Helen nodded. You won't be alone in this fight, but remember, some secrets are buried deep. The more you dig, the more the darkness might pull you in. Madison narrowed her eyes. I'm ready to walk right into that darkness. Madison stayed late at the hospital that night. Even though she wasn't on duty, she found ways to linger. She had one plan in mind, accessing old patient records. Because the ward where her family stayed before their deaths was right here in Cedarwood Medical Center. Around 2 a.m., she descended to the archive floor. The corridors were silent. The doors were locked, but Helen had left her a small key. You have 5 minutes, Helen had whispered a few hours earlier. Don't stay too long. Madison opened the archive room door. The room was dim, filled with the smell of dust. Shelves held old files and worn folders, untouched for years. She found a folder with her family's surname, Brooks. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Her father's name, Daniel Brooks. Her mother, Eva Brooks. And the date, March 2009. The file listed the diagnosis, aggressive viral infection, did not respond to treatment. But as Madison examined the file, she noticed something. All the test results seemed copied from the same day. None had dates, times, or doctor signatures. This isn't possible, she said to herself. Results were written without tests being done. Just then, footsteps echoed from outside. Madison quickly stuffed the file into her bag and turned off the light. She held her breath. The door slowly opened. A silhouette appeared in the darkness. A tall man in a coat. From the shadows, Madison recognized him. Dr. Hale. Hale stepped inside, scanning the shelves as if searching for something missing. He didn't notice Madison. Moments later, he left. Madison exhaled deeply. Her heart was pounding. She had nearly been caught. That night, when she got home, she texted Helen. The files are fake, all of them. And Hale was there. He was looking for me. Helen replied with a single sentence. You're getting too close. Be careful because they know. Madison couldn't sleep that night. She examined the Brooks file she had hidden in her bag over and over. The writing on the papers was artificial, the signatures missing. Most of the test results were computer printouts, but none bore a real doctor's note. The next morning, she went to the hospital early. One question consumed her. Who was behind this lie? Just Dr. Hale? She met Helen secretly in the laundry storage room. They locked the door from the inside. Madison. Those files are all fake. No real tests, no proper data, just a death report. That's it. Helen. I told you to find the file, but we've gone so deep now, there's no turning back. Madison. There's something you're not telling me. What do you know, Helen? Helen was silent for a moment. Then she pulled a small, worn notebook from her pocket. It was stained with old blood marks, its pages softened and edges torn. This is the diary of Margot, a nurse who worked here in 2009, she said quietly. Your family was here when Margot was on duty. I found her diary years later in an abandoned locker. No one noticed? Madison held her breath and opened the first page. Today, 3 patients came in with the same symptoms, but the doctors started antiviral treatments without a diagnosis. One was a child. I don't feel right about this. As the pages went on, darker entries appeared. Dr. Hale keeps following the same protocol. Treatment without tests. He's silencing us. Those who speak up are resigning one by one. Madison's eyes filled with tears. This wasn't just her family's story. It was bigger. Margot's words were real and undocumented. Madison. Where is Margot now? Helen. She suddenly quit 2 months later. Then, we lost track of her. Madison. I need to find her. This hospital didn't just make a mistake. They killed deliberately. At that moment, there was a knock at the door. Both flinched. Helen? A voice called from outside. It was Dr. Hale's voice, cold and suspicious. Helen quickly handed the diary to Madison and whispered, "Take it to my room. If he asks, say we were just talking about cleaning." Madison nodded, slipped the diary into her bag, steadied her breath, and opened the door. Dr. Hale stared into her eyes. "What were you two whispering about so early in the morning?" Madison smiled without hesitation. "The cleaning schedule changed, I think. We were talking about that. What's wrong?" Hale raised an eyebrow, sensing something, but said nothing. "Keep working," he said in a curt tone and walked away. When the door closed, Madison let out a deep breath. She thought to herself, things just got much more dangerous. But if I find Margot, there might still be hope. Madison read Margot's diary, given to her by Helen, until dawn. Every line screamed of a covered-up truth from 15 years ago, but no one knew where Margot was now. The final note in the diary led her to a dead end. "There's no end to this. 2 more people died today with the same symptoms. I wrote my petition but couldn't submit it. If someone reads these lines one day, please find them." Madison was no longer seeking justice just for her family, but for perhaps dozens of others. Her first stop was the hospital's archive department. Examining old personnel records was risky, but Helen had given Madison a temporary access card. During her lunch break, Madison slipped into the archive. She typed Margot into the computer system. The full name that appeared widened her eyes. Margot L. Stevens. Employment period 2007-2009. Reason for leaving, personal health issues. Residence address, not registered. As Madison reviewed the file, she noticed a striking note. No physical exit petition exists in the file. This confirmed Madison's suspicions. Margot hadn't left the hospital voluntarily. She was either threatened or silenced. That evening, Madison went to Helen's house. She showed her the information she'd found. Madison. I have to find her. The diary is just the beginning. She might be scared, but ready to talk. Helen. Actually, I might be able to introduce you to someone. She was Margot's close friend. We haven't spoken in years, but she might still live outside town. Helen gave Madison the phone number of Edna Cooper, a former employee. The next morning, Madison set out. She arrived at a small single-story house in a wooded area an hour outside town. An elderly woman opened the door. "Are you here for Margot?" she asked without needing an explanation. Madison was surprised. "Yes, I need to learn a truth about her." Edna invited her inside and began to tell her story slowly. Edna. In 2009, Margot uncovered a major mistake. She realized the deaths of 3 patients were directly linked to the treatment protocol. She wrote a petition and warned upper management. Then, you know what happened? One night, on her way home, her car's brakes failed, and she veered off the road. Madison's breath caught. "Is Margot dead?" Edna. "No, but she doesn't talk." After the accident, she refused to go back to the hospital. She changed her name and settled in a cabin in the woods. She only trusted one person, me. Madison stood up immediately. "I want to see her. I need to talk to her. She can help me uncover the truth." After a brief pause, Edna nodded. "I'll take you to her tomorrow morning, but know this. Margot is still afraid, and she has reason to be. If you understand who these people really are, the only thing you'll fear is the truth." Early the next morning, Madison and Edna traveled silently along a dirt path through the forest. The air was gray, with fog weaving through the trees, making each step feel more tense. Edna stopped at the foot of a hill. "There it is," she said, pointing to a small wooden cabin. Madison took a deep breath. She was about to face the person who had been missing for over a decade, the one at the heart of it all. The door creaked open. Standing before her was a woman nearing her 60s, weary but with a sharp intelligence still gleaming in her eyes, Margot L. Stevens. Edna introduced her. "Margot, this is Madison Brooks. One of the patients who died 15 years ago was from her family. She wants to know the truth." Margot said nothing at first. She studied Madison's face for a long moment before quietly inviting her inside. "Margot, I'll tell this story only once, because I've seen what happens when I speak. Margot spoke of 3 deaths that occurred in a single night in 2009. All were different ages but received treatment through the same serum line. The serum was supplemented with a new drug the hospital had put into trial. Margot was on night duty at the time and accidentally discovered that the drug wasn't stored under proper conditions. I found out the drug produced toxic effects when exposed to heat. I reported it to management immediately, but then my warnings were erased from the records. Madison listened, her eyes wide. What happened next? Margot. The next day, my notes in the archive were gone. The deputy director, Dr. Jonathan Hale, called me to his office. He told me I'd be retired with compensation if I stayed quiet. I refused. That night, my car's brakes failed. Margot showed an old scar on her arm. I survived, but I stopped talking because I realized this wasn't just the hospital. It was a bigger system. Margot pulled out a box. Inside were yellowed papers, old serum container logos, and a printed copy. An approval document bearing Dr. Jonathan Hale's signature. Margot. This document shows the drug was officially approved for use despite being in the testing phase, and Hale signed it. Madison's hands trembled as she held the document. This is proof. Margot nodded. But be careful. If this document comes to light, it will destroy Hale and the sponsoring company behind him. They'll do anything to silence you. Madison left Margot's cabin with the critical document in hand. The story was no longer just about her family. It was about exposing a scandal that had cost many lives. That night, she contacted Helen. I have the document that proves the truth. But before I expose it, I need to reach the media or someone trustworthy. Helen. What are you planning to do? Madison. This time, they'll be the ones afraid. Cedarwood Medical Center can't stay silent anymore. Madison's heart pounded as she tucked Margot's documents into her bag. The copy she held was proof of a lie that had taken not only her family's lives, but those of many innocent people. She had to decide what to do with the documents. She didn't sleep that night. By morning, she had made her decision. I'm going to confront Dr. Jonathan Hale, but I won't go alone. When she returned to the hospital, Helen was by her side. They walked silently to the management floor. Madison knocked, and Dr. Hale's cold voice called from inside. Come in. Dr. Hale was as calm and distant as ever. Madison faced him and placed the documents on his desk. Madison. Do you recognize these, Dr. Hale? He examined the documents, but his expression didn't change. Dr. Hale. These copies prove nothing. I don't know where you got them, but there's a lot here that could be used against you, Madison. Be careful. Helen. Are you threatening her? Dr. Hale. No, I'm warning her. Sometimes digging up past tragedies causes more harm to the living. Madison gave a slight smile. I think you've caused enough harm already. She revealed the voice recorder she had discreetly placed on the desk. Your conversation has been recorded, and it's already backed up in a secure cloud. I can send it to the media with one click. That evening, Madison delivered the documents to a local newspaper. National news channels soon picked up the story. The headlines read, Cedarwood Medical Center scandal exposed. Experimental drugs linked to deaths. Hidden medical murders uncovered by Madison Brooks' courage. Dr. Hale was suspended, and an investigation was launched. A class action lawsuit was filed against the pharmaceutical company. Years later, Margot was officially honored with an apology from the hospital administration. 1 month later, Madison sat in the hospital's old garden, holding a photo of her family. As I promised you, the truth is out. You can rest in peace now. Helen approached, smiling. What will you do now? Madison looked into the distance. Maybe I'll help others have their voices heard. Maybe I'll uncover other hidden stories. Helen. The world needs someone like you. Madison's courage broke the silence of death in a hospital. The truth shattered years of silence. But this was only the beginning. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Uncovering the truth sometimes takes just one person's courage. Maybe the next story is a secret you know. Support Revenge Time, because every silence could be the grave of a truth.